Good afternoon. My name is Ramses Gallego. I'm International Chief Technology Officer with CyberRes, a micro-focused line of business. It is truly a pleasure, a blessing, being back to beautiful Armenia. I've been here 5 times, 6 times. I can't remember. But I do remember that each and every time, it was a privilege. It was a privilege to serve you. I was invited, thank you very much, by the Central Bank of Armenia, thank you, by its people, by its food, by its brandy, but that's for another presentation. But, you know, I was amazed, and I came all the way from Barcelona to let you know in the next 29 minutes about the DNA of this epoch. At the heart of every single company out there, here and around the planet, is about protect and defend, protect and defend, protect and defend. Actually, now that I'm talking about the DNA is the molecule that carries all of the genetic information for any living organism. Any living organism. So I have a question for you. Do you think that your company is a living organism? Your country? Your region? Your association? Your entity? Your neighborhood? I think they do. They are. Because any living organism and the DNA carries all of the genetic information with these 4 instrumental things. Well, 5 actually. Being born, develop, grow, function, and reproduction. Being born as a company, as a country, as a region of the world, develop, function, grow, and then evolve. I mean, reproduce. Make it bigger, make it larger, make it stronger. Am I right? So at the DNA of every single company, and history has shown us that no society will move forward without the holy disciplines of protection and defense, with security at the core, with security at heart. So my invitation to you is to have the right conversation. That's the goal of this fantastic event, right? I mean, it's my first time, hopefully not the last, at Silicon Mountains, right? But back to the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the roots. Back to the right conversation, which is how are we going to protect this? If you're building an application, all right, great. How are we going to secure this? If you are dealing with customer data, healthcare information, sexual information, how on earth are you going to protect that? That's at the core of any society at large. And I mean, back to the beginning, right? Actually, I'm inviting you, if this works, I don't know. Okay, can you, anyway. I'm inviting you to shine at the crossroads. Oh, I lost the connection, give me just a second. I'm inviting you to shine at the crossroads where different technologies, Wi-Fi is not helping me today, exactly. Where in a very technological world, and then the art of servicing people, or serving customers, both verbs work in English. Serving citizens, serving people. I mean, understanding that while we may call it digital disruption, I love it, right? How cool is that? I mean, we call it digital transformation. It looks like a TV series. Digital Transformation, Season 2, now streaming on Prime Video or on Netflix. But the reality is, and we've heard fantastic speeches, and there are more to come, by the way, but fantastic talks on radical innovation. That's the name of the game. Radical innovation, doing different things differently. Differently. When the adverb comes in, changes many things, am I right? Not just the right things, but the right things rightly. At the right speed, with the right mood, with the right smile, with the right budget, with the right technology. And yes, of course, I represent a company that sells things, but not today. Not today. I came all the way from Barcelona to invite you into the journey from cybersecurity to cyber resiliency. Listen, we are coming out, hopefully, not yet, but we are coming out of a terrible time, you know, pandemic and terrible. And I learned a lot of things in these tragic times. What we are seeing on the left-hand side of my blue slide, this is security, building a wall, protecting yourselves. And we learn a lot in these terrible times. But while this is security, and do not get me wrong, security is still fundamental. Identifying threats, protecting, detecting, responding, you know, the NIST cybersecurity framework. I mean, those verbs are still fundamental. However, the dictionary brings us another perspective. The dictionary, and if the slide helps me, anyway, the dictionary brings me on the right-hand side exactly that this is resiliency, the capacity to endure, the capacity to endure, the capacity to resist, the capacity to withstand. We are living in terrible times of war. War. And cyber criminals as well will try to get your society at large at a stop. And attackers and offenders will try to steal your data, I mean your money, for sure. So the question is not if we will be able to build a castle, that we have to. We have been doing this for decades, right, in the cybersecurity arena. But the question is if we will be able to get out from the hospital. How many lives were lost for the, excuse my French, fucking COVID-19? But this lady came out of the hospital on her own. That's the name of the game. Understanding the different in and out channels of a company, the different in and out vectors of a company. It is great that you have 1, 2, 3 conversations on cybersecurity. Fantastic, I celebrate it. The problem is that there are only 1, 2, or 3 vectors of a company. There are many. There are many. Let me go back to my presentation. There are many like the cloud, the chaotic universe where we live, the storage cabins, network devices, endpoint protection. I don't know, there are many. Actually, I came all the way from Barcelona, and again, it's a blessing to be with you because I am not very good at chess. At the game of chess, they call it the sport of chess. This morning, Mr. Governor told us about the strategy and tactics. Strategy in the long term and then tactics. I don't know if you know how to play chess, but that's a fantastic game for strategy and tactics, am I right? In order to gain the game, you have different assets and you have a defined territory, 64 squares, 8 times 8. So you have a defined domain with different assets that they can move differently through the board game, and that's fantastic. You know, when I studied my studies on business management and international relations, I mean, in marketing especially, they always say, business is king, customer is king. And basically the game of chess is try to defeat, to do checkmate, the king. And I understand that when again, I'm told, citizen is king, Ramses, business is king, customer is king. Great, great. But there is another instrumental piece, asset in the game of chess that is critical to win a game. The people that play chess, really well, certainly not me, they say, you cannot win at the game of chess without the queen. And this is not because I want to be nice with the ladies in the room, that I want to, but the queen in the game of chess, she can move freely on the board. She can do all of the movements, all of them. Well, not really. She cannot jump as the horse does, but all of the other movements she can do. One by one, crossing the whole board, diagonal, horizontal, vertical, that's great. A fundamental piece in the strategic and tactical game of chess. In my line of work, and hopefully in your line of work, what I heard this morning from vision and mission and purpose and promise from the Central Bank of Armenia and the rest of the people that were right now, minutes ago, here on stage, what I've heard is that while we have to protect the king, the queen of your domains are assurance and governance and identity management and access control and network protection and endpoint protection and then 𝐸𝐸₂ and then cloud management and then assurance and then single sign-on. Wow. Wow. It's too overwhelming. But it's not. Actually, it looks like it's, impossible, but it's not. Because in English, I don't know if this works in Armenian, certainly it doesn't work in Spanish, but I'm going to say it in English. The word impossible, do you know what it means really? I'm possible. I am possible. I'm possible. Yes, that's the face. I'm possible. Is it going to be difficult? Yes, I know it's going to be difficult. But what I heard this morning is that you have a vision to unify and simplify the way we travel the journey from cybersecurity into cyber resiliency. That's what I heard here today. Actually, in my game of chess, there are not one domain, but three. And they are hyper-connected. Every company on the planet has these three unified and simplified domains: identities, data, and applications. Am I right? Identities, data, and applications. And I'm going to say it again. Identities, data, and applications. Identities, who has access to what? How many conversations you have? Deeper conversations on identity management. I'm assuming that some. But I know for a fact that not all of them. Because as you will see in some slides from now, identity management is that big. It's single sign-on, federation, governance. It's not just who has access to what. No. It's who has access to what, when, how the access was granted, for how long, with how many privileges, which is the window of exposure. Do you really have all of those conversations in all of your systems? If you do, great, I celebrate it. If you don't, you should start right now. Actually, sorry, let me go back. I never do that, but I missed exactly. So the second one is data. Identities, data. I mean, how many presentations have you attended? Data is the new oil. Data is the new gold. I'm not going to go that way. But I'm going to tell you that data is fundamental because businesses and governments and countries of the planet are built on data. Citizen data, healthcare data, finance data, educational data. And not just the data that you know. Because there's data that you know. Meaning that you know that you can control. What happened with the conversation of the data that you don't know? It's called unstructured data. Not structured data, but unstructured data. Do you have conversations on how many PowerPoints of our company might be around? In Yahoo Mail? In Dropbox? In Slack? Do you know how many Excel or reports you may find in, OneDrive, Google Mail, Z Drive? I'm inventing this company, by the way. So, no, probably no. So, identities, data, and then applications. Hardening applications in the journey in a very cloudified world, even if you're not going to the cloud, you are, trust me. But applications that are on-prem and they are on cloud, hardening applications. Do you have conversations on how robust and solid is your code? No, seriously, not just one application, all of them. Do you really know what type of libraries and APIs your developers are using? That they take from GitHub and they use open source? No, seriously, do you know that? I will go into that in a second, right? But let me move, because now, yes, my slide on, this is you. This is us. It's difficult, but it's sort of chaotic, but this is why we grew our companies. You know, IoT, different platforms, bring your own device, and then cloud, and then devices, and then social, and then, I know, it's difficult, but remember, I'm possible rather than impossible. I came all the way from Barcelona to let you know about civil architecture, civil engineering. I love this metaphor, because if you build your own house, or you actually design anything, I chose a house because I like this visual, but if you build anything, I'm assuming that you want it robust and solid, right? You don't want it to fail, am I right? Actually, you would like it to be beautiful. And in order to design anything in life, like when we were doing Legos, you know, when we were kids, you know, you need to decide size, and light, and weight, and the right foundations. Well, enterprise security is not that different. When you are building anything, any project that you have now on your desk, I hope that you want it beautiful, that you want it robust, solid. Maybe that is a reference for somebody out there. What I'm telling you also in this very liquid life, I love that idea, liquid times. If COVID-19 showed anything, is that overnight, I don't know in this country, but in my country, Spain, Friday, March the 13th, 2020. I remember it as if it was yesterday. Boom, the president going on public record, now you cannot go out. Your liberties are gone, Ramses. You need to be confined 24 hours at home. Excuse me? I mean, wow, that was a shock. But that was liquid. That was overnight. It didn't take months for keeping people at home. Boom, boom. Now there you go. You have a law, and then you cannot go out. So we live in very liquid times. You were in very, certainly the war, in the Ukraine, the Ukraine threat digital condition, bad as it is, liquid times, overnight. Oh God, what happened? Enterprise security is not that different. And enterprise security is not that different because you not only want connected security, look at my hands. It's not just connected security. It's integrated security. It's a security that talks with other securities for the greater good. Is it difficult? Yes, it is. Is it impossible? No, it's not. It's possible. So liquid times, flexible times, liquid times, integrated times, in a world on top of that has, guess what? Now suddenly, we don't have databases, ladies and gentlemen. We have data lakes. I love it. Whoever invented the word is a genius. Data lakes. Oceans of information. Seas of data that we need to correlate, that we need to understand, that we need to adapt and adopt, again, for the greater good. So the idea of data lakes and oceans of information, especially in the world of security operations. I have been presenting for plus 22 years. I have done thousands of presentations around the world. And I guess I have used this slide thousands of times. And in my brain, I should stop. I should do like a silence now, like a dramatic pause. I can't, because I'm a talker. But this is very obvious, right? Everybody understands that. You can request this picture for me. Actually, it's on the internet. It's not even mine. But please show it to your kids, to your colleagues, to your peers, to your managers, or the people that are reporting to you. Everybody understands that the next big thing will happen from a keyboard, with a keyboard, through a keyboard. Yes, again, we still have physical war, which is tragic. It's okay, it's a nightmare. But it is also a nightmare to be attacked from thousands of kilometers away, and you basically can do nothing, at least from a legal perspective. If you are being attacked from Spain right now, what will you do? You go to the Armenian police, and I don't know how it works, but is there any lawyer in the room? If you get hacked from Singapore, Egypt, Hong Kong, Chicago, Illinois, what will you do? No, I'm dead serious. So the next big thing, although again, in a world of war is tragic, the next big thing will happen from a keyboard, with a keyboard, through a keyboard. So they will keep attacking, we need to keep protecting. I said it this morning on an interview. No question that the bad guys will keep us trying and attacking. So what are you, the good guys, going to do? We will keep protecting. And then we'll keep attacking or trying, and we will keep protecting on the different in and out vectors of a company. Identities, data, and applications. Okay? Actually, in the journey, let me move fast because I only had like 30 minutes. What you are seeing now on screen is what I just opened the door to. Identity management and access control. Actually, people now call it identity governance and administration. I mean, the industry changes the acronym every now and then. But this is the journey on the different domains that identity and access management has. And let me tell you something. I know for a fact that everyone here has done something on identity and access management. Two-factor authentication, single sign-on maybe, federation, governance, which is good. But the whole thing on identity and access management, I can put money on the table that no one here has done, or at least you have it in the vision. Again, I know the Central Bank of Armenia has fantastic things on that aspect, but, well, actually, let me challenge you with another question. You know single sign-on, correct, as a concept? How many conversations have you had on single sign-off? Not single sign-on, on single sign-off. Technology that automatically can sign you off of all of those, of all of the applications. Actually, technology that can actually automatically sign you off depending on the device you use, or where I am located, or the time of the day, or the proxy I'm using, or the HTTP headers, or depending on a number of variables, going back to the data lakes, going back to the oceans of information that we have at our disposal, use the right information to do the right things rightly. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, it is not technology. Technology right now looks like magic to me. The problem is, yes, money. I mean, budgets are not infinite, unfortunately, but then the willingness, the conversation, going forward. Let me move from identity and access management to security operations. I chose this amazing picture. You know, it looks like Houston, you know, like NASA, you know. And probably your security operations center is not like that. But I don't need it to be like that. What I need it to be is the right people following the right processes and procedures, using the right technology. And yes, the picture is good, it's state-of-the-art sort of thing. But talented people with the right skill set, following policies and procedures, and using the right technology in order to do what? To mitigate your risk exposure. To close the window of exposure. That's the name of the game. And certainly security operations, once before, years ago, it used to be the CM, you know, correlating information, that's it. Now it has become the single instance of the truth, because then you can correlate EDR information, endpoint protection, network management. It has become the single instance of the truth. A nuclear solution for, it's called Security Operation Center for a reason, right? A SOC. So this is absolutely fundamental. And then, and again, I'm not endorsing any company here, not even mine, right? But with beautiful interfaces that you can click, that you can do a lot of things, actually with interfaces that you can actually follow the attack. Follow the attack. Why am I saying this? Give me 2 slides and I will show you. But, you know, cool interfaces around the world, with a lot of things, right? Actually combining it with identity and access management. Remember when I told you about integrated security? Security operations that talks with identity and access management and talks with encryption and tokenization at the data of my 3 chessboards, the second one, data, and a security operation that actually understands how robust and solid are the applications that are being built, okay? But on top of that, are you familiar with the 𝐸𝐸 attack framework? If you are not, great, because you will in the next 2 minutes. If you are, great, because you will smile, say, and assess if I am explaining it good or bad. You know, the 𝐸𝐸 in Fort Lauderdale in 2015, they came out with a sort of a framework that is basically following this acronym that you're seeing here. Attack means adversarial, tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. Let me say it again. Adversarial, the enemy. Tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. Now, guess what? Now, suddenly, we have the book of attack has been written. We have more than 300 techniques, experience from the real world, not just from theory, not just from research, actual tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. And some vendors, most of them, I have to admit, of course, this is my interpretation, our interpretation, but again, forget about, I mean, this is the 𝐸𝐸 attack, but please follow me, even if you don't read it from afar, from left to right. From left to right, what you are seeing is the tactics, techniques, and common knowledge, and how the bad guys, they try to gain initial access, how they try to execute the attack. Now we do know, with a massive degree of certainty, how they try to persist. I love it. How many conversations you have on persistence? Because the bad guys try to persist. Do you try to persist? And you? On you? As a good guy, I mean. Persisting. And then how they try to escalate privilege, to gain credential access, to exfiltrate data. Now we know with a massive degree of certainty. The book of attack has been written. Have you written the book of defense? That's the question. By the way, the 𝐸𝐸, they also have the defend network. It's not as complete as the attack one. It is not as robust, but they have the attack one and they have the defend one, just in case you are looking. I think it's good. Let me move rapidly because they asked me this morning in an interview, and it's good because I have put it on my presentation, which is Machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Let me say it again. When we people talk about we use artificial intelligence, well, yes, but it's not true. It's true because but machine learning is a subset of AI, okay? So let's go to ML, machine learning. There are 4 types of machine learning, 4 and only 4. Supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement learning, and deep learning. I'm gonna say it again. Supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, reinforcement learning, and deep learning. I'm gonna focus on the second one. I have a full session on machine learning, so if you invite me next year, I may do that one. But on supervised machine learning, I especially love it because the algorithm learns by observation. You don't have to train the algorithm. It learns by checking, by observing what's happening. And by observing what's happening, it is very capable of telling what shouldn't be happening, or at least the things that are strange. For banking, fraud detection, wow. Wow, fantastic. This is very strange, Ramses. This shouldn't be happening. You have never accessed your account from Singapore? Ooh, that's cool. Abnormal behavior. When, with all due respect, we humans, we have bad days. I had an argument with my wife, with my daughter. I'm upset with my manager today. I'm having a bad day. The algorithm does not. The algorithm does not. And I'm not talking, this is not the talk of, the Terminator, or, the algorithm, changing jobs with humans. No. I'm talking about this, rather this. Collaborating with the algorithms. Collaborating with machine learning on 24/7 basis. They are very capable of doing things, crunching data that we humans cannot. Honestly. You as a young professional, or you as a veteran, you are sitting on a SOC, and then you are dealing with information, with patterns. The algorithm shines of that. And then you as human, you will take the right decision, hopefully. But collaborating, that's super important. Let me open the door very rapidly to application security, right? Again, I'm not going to be technical, right? And again, I'm not endorsing any company, but I would certainly appreciate, if you are not technical, a solution, and there are many solutions out there, 1 hour, but that makes an analysis of the code. Any code. Do you use Python, Java, C++, COBOL maybe? So any language should be analyzed. And then I would appreciate a solution that gives me a sense of, Ramses, this is the vulnerability that I have found in your code. And you know what? That provides me a recommendation. Even if I am not technical, I can read English. Not Armenian, I'm sorry. But I do read English. And, and it gives me the recommendation. Actually, I'd certainly appreciate a solution, a technology that even suggests me the code. Hey, you should change those parameters. Why? Because that API that you have been using is from 2018, Ramses. The developer that you hired, they are very good people. But unfortunately, they're using outdated APIs or libraries that they have these big holes, and you don't want that to happen, do you? So I would certainly appreciate a solution that suggests me code. I would certainly appreciate, actually, a solution that provides me a diagram of dependencies. If you touch this, you will break that. If you move this, probably this will not work. Again, even if I'm not technical, I can understand all this. I need to finish in the next 3 minutes, unfortunately. But I have been inviting you in these 27 now minutes to connect the dots. I have been inviting you into a journey, remember? From cybersecurity to cyber resiliency. That's my metaphor of a journey. A metro map. Good, huh? At the heart of the city, you can choose. I have chosen to put cyber resiliency. But you can decide if you want privacy, or governance, or management, or assurance. Because I can tell you that on the journey, whichever line you take, you need to ask the right questions to the right people at the right time on structured data. You need to ask the right questions at the right people at the right time on line 2, unstructured data. How many conversations you have on data discovery? Data discovery. Galileo Galilei said more than 500 years ago that you cannot protect what you don't know. How are you going to protect something or improve something if you don't actually know it? So I know that you have a lot of data in control. What happened with the conversation of unstructured? And again, if you take any of my lines, the red one, the blue one, the pink one, identity and access management, application security, security operations, governance, solution, who has access to what, privilege account management, file recovery, classification of information, tokenization, encryption. What a journey. What a journey this is. In the 2 minutes that I have left, and because this we chose to talk about the DNA, remember 28 minutes ago that I talked about the DNA, that's the title of the session. I think that I have found the genes, DNA, the genes of the next generation. By attending events like this ones, or the one in 𝐑𝐚𝐦𝐬 from CBA, and many others, by reading books, by networking with people, by looking into people's eyes and sharing experiences, talking about the gene of the next generation, and of course by using the right technology from the right people, I think that you will be even more intelligent. You will be more of a genius. And people like to be called genius, right? People appreciate that, wow, you're a star, man. I mean, you rock. You really understand not just one, not two, not three, but actually the whole universe of things that we have to embrace, adapt, and adopt, becoming a genius. Actually, we the good guys, and I'm assuming we all here are good guys, we need to be generous because the bad guys are talking. The bad guys are saying, you know what, there's a hole in there. That database, I mean, wow, you can crack it. And you can have some millions out of there. The bad guys are talking. Are we the good guys talking? Yes, we are. But we need to talk more. Rely on the government, rely on the guys that know. And becoming generous. Becoming genuine. Genuine, by the way, it's a synonym of being authentic. Being authentic. And most importantly, becoming an agent of change. An agent of change. Before I go into my last slide, my invitation actually to you today on the DNA of every company, protect and defend, and that's the invitation I want to make, is to become a legend. To become a legend. Do you want to become a legend? I do. Because legends are remembered. You should. And you. And you. And you. And you. Because legends are remembered. Legends leave a legacy. And even if you leave your work or you change industry or whatever, if you meet someone taking coffee near the Opera Square and they say, hey, you know what? You remember the process that you create? That application that you wrote? It's still there, man. It works. Flawlessly. It's great. You saw it and then you had a vision and a mission, a purpose and a promise. You delivered. Now suddenly you become a legend. My last slide and my last minute, of course. You know, my name is Ramses, like the Egyptian pharaoh, you know, like the king. I'm Spanish, but, you know, they chose that name for me. So I thought bringing something Egyptian at the end of the presentation is going to be super cool, right? So that's the Rosetta Stone. That's the Rosetta Stone. It was the dictionary of the epoch. It was the dictionary of the epoch. There's Egyptian hieroglyphics on top, Demotic script in the middle, and ancient Greek at the bottom. Because of ancient Greek, we were able to understand what these guys up there were drawing or saying. It was the dictionary of the epoch. With all modesty, I have tried in this half an hour and in every interaction I have had with the beautiful people of Armenia many, many times, I just tried to make an invitation. Become the dictionary of the epoch. Talk to people. Understand what we're talking about here. Is it difficult? Yes, it is. But remember, I'm possible. I'm possible. And you say it times and times again. And if you embrace cloud and endpoint protection and security operations and identity management and application security in a holistic way, you will become a legend. You will become a legend. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to present for you today. Thank you very much.